Look at all these people. Hi, everybody. Big welcome to you. My name is Yvonne Miles. I am the founder of Vibrantly Living You, which is a health and wellness movement that's dedicated to helping you claim health so vibrant. It's as though you're aging backwards. And I do that because I say that because I think it's possible. So I just want you to know that you're in the right place. And I am here right now with my co-pilot Ann Greenwald, with A Gift Movement Coaching, and with our wing woman, Catherine.
Woo woo! Yes, welcome everybody. And one of the first secrets is staying cool on a hot day, because we got some Houston hot here in New Hampshire, where everybody is here. Hopefully you're in air conditioning. And I know Arizona is pretty darn hot too. So welcome everyone. And yeah, if you're outside, which I see some folks are, awesome. But stay cool, maybe get some water, pad and paper to get rolling today. But welcoming everyone, and Yvonne and I have joined forces to welcome you deeply, but on a topic that is near and dear to both of our hearts, because we believe that health matters no matter how old or how young you are. So we got to start fresh and keep it rolling all the way through. And I also wanted to just celebrate that you guys are all here and that technology is working, because sometimes, you know, Wi-Fi in different areas is a little spotty. So if you come and go, hopefully come back and join us. And hopefully ours will work okay too. It's always frustrating moments, and glad that you all can make it through that. But first off, we'd love if you could, if you're familiar with Zoom and using chat lines, put in a chat where you're from and say hi back to us.
Yeah, and I'm from Houston, and I sympathize with all of you in the Northeast who maybe are not quite used to Houston weather, but I want to testify that it is hot here too, and so we feel your pain. And Catherine is all the way over there in Phoenix. Yeah, so what's it like over there in Phoenix for right now, Catherine?
The high is going to be 102 today, and then it's going to get up to 106 closer to the weekend.
Yikes. Yeah, so that's a good reminder to stay hydrated and stay, as cool as you can. And why don't you tell us what you think about the aging slump, and what do you think it means?
Thanks, Yvonne. You know, so I deal a lot with the physical body, and so aging slump tends to mean body position to me, and rounded shoulders, head forward, osteoporosis in the spine and the upper back, also shuffling of feet. And so coming in and slumping and rounding forward. May remember from a year ago, the loss of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, but towards the end of her life, she was very hunched over and slumped from a lifetime of probably writing notes and working at computers. So that's what I kind of see as that aging slump. How about you, Yvonne? What do you think?
Yeah, I've thought a lot about that myself, because I tend to think of it as being the mental slump that is so easy to fall into, and yet that mental slump can also result in that physical slump. So for me personally, I think about it every day now that I've moved beyond it. But there was this point in time when I really thought my body was breaking down. I kind of felt like, well, you had a good run, you were taking care of yourself, it's your time. And as I was having these aches and pains and constantly swollen knees and gaining weight and all of the rest of that, I thought, well, that's I've hit that slump. There's no coming out of it. And I just assumed there was nothing that I could do. And so that is what comes to mind for me when I think about the aging slump. The one really exciting thing I want to say, well, first of all, you're doing a great job on the engagement with all of your comments because we're going to count those as well. But the thing that I'm really excited about is we want to show you how serious we are about these prizes that we're going to be awarding throughout the next few days. And so we're going to kick things off by gifting you, all of you today, a very special event only gift. Event only. You can only use it here in this event, and it's worth $500. And we're going to email it to you, which is why we were asking for your emails and making sure that we have your emails. We're going to send those details to you after today's session, along with a link for the replay if you want to listen once again. Okay, so I will drop our emails into the chat just in case you wanna have it here. But again, just it really is amazing how much we all learn when we participate and learn together, and just have that much more fun. So Anne, are we ready to
We
rock?
absolutely are. And I think before we, get started, I wanted just to do a little introduction for me and for Yvonne. Why we're here, why we're doing this. I am a personal trainer by trade, I guess, and have studied biomechanics and functional aging and orthopedics, how the body works. Been studying injury mechanisms for a long time now. And not only my own body breaking down and trying to understand that, but like I said, I'm the youngest of 5 kids. So my siblings, my own children and my parents, my in-laws. So, a lot around me who I work with. It's fascinating to me how the body works and trying to understand it's one big system. And I get really frustrated with the medical system that looks at, one body part and doesn't necessarily consider the whole when looking at, total joint replacements or other health issues that we tend to have. So that is my background, where I'm coming from. Yvonne, you want to just say a little bit about where your background is and why
Yeah.
we're together?
Yeah. So I have been a lifelong advocate of a healthy lifestyle. And I think that became that much more meaningful to me when I became a NIA teacher. NIA is a movement technique that fuses different forms of movement together so that everybody can do it. It's accessible to everybody. You can even do it sitting down in a chair. And it's actually more of a lifestyle practice. So when I combine that with a growing desire to learn better nutritional practices, then suddenly this idea came together to make it not just easy, but pleasurable for people to invite better health into their bodies and into their lives. And the reason I did that is that I saw myself on that aging slump. And the thing that rescued me was the movement through my NIA practice, and then putting myself on a path of more nutritional eating. There are other things along that path that are very important. And when Anne and I came together, we found this natural meeting point to be able to blend those with both her specialty and with my specialty. So that was my way into this work. And so I created Vibrantly Living You, which is all about reclaiming your health so that you can look and feel as though you're aging backwards.
And the big bottom line is, I don't think either of us can see people in pain. And pain is, having experienced it ourselves in various ways, is not only like so distracting in life, it's debilitating and it makes you feel old, and it can take over your life. And so that's what we're trying to avoid, is that pain taking over your life. And that's a big, I guess, close to my heart interest for me, seeing others in pain and myself, and not wanting to have that take over their lives. So anyway, with that being said, let's kind of get into what the first 2 secrets that we're going to present today. And in my world, I love to think of how things work and physics and how the body works. I get a little obsessed with it at times. I love anatomy and physiology, and how how valuable it is to use tools when we're doing different activities. For example, gardening, and how helpful it is to have shovels and wheelbarrows. And we're getting a lot of house renovations done, not necessarily as we speak today, but they were here yesterday. And looking at all of the tools the carpenters need to use and how valuable those tools are in helping get their jobs done. So there was a Greek philosopher named Archimedes who said that, give me a lever long enough and a place to stand, and I can move the world. And that's very true. So if you think of how a shovel works, how a wheelbarrow works, if you put a small load on one side, you can make a much greater impact on the other side. And we both believe that, yeah, we can move the world of your health with these levers, and knowing what the tools are to change the health journey potentially that you're on, and knowing how to use and control those tools. And so physics rules, it really does. And when you think about how we move, and over the next 5 days, we are going to unlock and look at those 5 powerful levers. And so the 5 really secrets, not so secret, things that we can control, that you have conscious effort of controlling, is your posture, thinking of alignment, how your body bones are lined up, your breath. Luckily, it happens unconsciously when you sleep, but we also have very conscious control of our breath. If you think of, yoga breathing instructors, or certainly anybody had any children, you want to be able to control your breath, or high-level sports performances control their breath. Movement, where we are in space, mindset, what you are thinking, and finally, nutrition, probably the biggest, I guess, secret that will really control that aging slump. And so think of each of these as a lever. Just a little push on one side can create an even greater force on the other side. And it's definitely not rocket science. It's very doable, but we sometimes forget about some of those things. Today, we are concentrating on posture and movement. So when you think of posture, yeah, what is alignment, and how are the bones aligned, and how do we balance? How, as humans, do we balance on 2 feet? What are the wear patterns, not only on our shoes and, the floors that you walk on, but on your bones? And it's an analogy that I love to use, and that I think of often, as thinking of every cell in your body like a trampoline. And if you can imagine yourself standing in the middle of a trampoline, a round thing with springs all around and goes bouncy up and down. And so if you're standing in the middle of the trampoline, all of the springs are going to see a load. If you stand on a side of the trampoline, all of the springs see a load, but the springs closest to where you're standing are going to see a greater load. Can you imagine if you're jumping up and down on that spot? Those springs are going to wear out quicker. So if you think of, for example, the way the knee joint is, if you are putting a load on one side of the knee more than the other side, that side is going to wear out first. So if you're looking at x-rays and the doctor says you don't have a lot of joint space in there, and then the cartilage is pushing together, potentially the way you've been walking, the way you've been loading, and if you're carrying a load or moving in certain ways, or sitting at a chair, or your computer monitor is always making your head turn, or you do a lot of driving, world is in front of you. So thinking of where your body is aligned, head position, and what these lifestyle habits are. And then beyond that, like what your confidence and self-image is, and how you hold yourself up. And so like we said earlier, Ruth Bader Ginsburg and her neck position. And so what was going on with her in the neck and the back, and how much pain she probably had. And so, why is good posture worth fighting for? Honestly, good alignment means less pain, no matter your age. and avoiding artificial body parts like replacements. And I said before, with the knees and alignment, if we can get that alignment and take the load off that inside edge of the knee, you definitely can reduce the incidence of needing a joint replacement. And it's not just the knees, you know, all joints can get replaced. Technology and orthopedics these days has come a long way. But the pain of the recovery, and not only that, but the cost of the medical bills, it's time and money. It's a lot of stuff that can be avoided. And also, if you're loading one spot, that is what arthritis is, and the breakdown of cartilage. So avoiding long-term overuse injuries, and that would slow you down and cause a movement limitation. So that's a big part of why posture, to bring it up into our conscious mind, is so important to where we're going. So what do you think about that one, Yvonne?
I rely on that principle all the time, all the time. You know, what about if you're sitting in front of a computer, like many of us are most of the day?
And like even right now, think about how you're watching us. Are you on an iPad? Are you on your phone? Are you on a computer? What chair are you sitting in? What is the, you know, I'm looking at where my camera is versus my head position. And, you know, it adds up over time. And if you don't get up and stand up, luckily, you know, I have this fun little watch. It tells me to stand up and it tells me to breathe. So those things are important to keep into the conscious mind of how you move. That is very true.
That is, that's really interesting. You know, it's everything that you've shared. It just has such, it applies in my life every single day. I'm thinking about my posture when I'm canted off to one side or another, and by focusing on that, it has allowed me to bring back a lot of healing. We're having some technical difficulties right now getting out to the Facebook page, and I'm doing my best behind the scenes to fix that. But once we get it fixed, and it may have to be later on this evening, you may see a question out there that says, where do you feel the effects of your posture when you are sitting at a computer or looking at your phone screen? So for those of you on Zoom, if you'll go ahead and drop your answers into the chat, that would be a lovely thing for us to learn from you.
Yes, Carol, you're saying posture affects breathing too. That is absolutely true. Because if you imagine, you know, shoulders hunched forward and lungs and, you know, thoracic cavity shut down a little bit, or even in through the breathing apparatus of through the jaw and the neck, and even down into the lower diaphragm, pelvic floor area. Posture affects breathing. That would be for sure. Okay, so, and I know Yvonne definitely has had the aha moment of when she was walking, and, you know, I guess one of the first times Yvonne and I met, she had a lot of medial knee pain and was limping, and we talked about where she was placing her foot on the ground, and maybe an outward stance of the feet was causing a lot of that medial joint pain. So just thinking of the sensation of alignment versus misalignment and how we feel that in our body. And it's just become a habit, you know, maybe for many of us to turn our feet out or turn our feet in or walk on the edges of the feet based on how we're carrying ourself. So interesting how that is all connected.
It is all connected. It is very much all connected. Why, Anne, what do you think it is that makes it so hard for people to maintain good posture?
And honestly, I think the simple truth is that most of us, and I find myself falling into this as well, are on autopilot a lot of the day. You know, like we get so busy taking care of life or doing so many other things, we don't really take a moment to think about how we're moving, how we're sitting, how we're standing, until the warning sign gets so loud, it starts screaming and it's telling you to slow down and stop, with the back pain, with the knee pain, with the hip pain, with the ankle, like whatever. Certainly neck, shoulder is a big one as well. So we don't think about it until it comes knocking on the door, like many stuff in our health. So being on autopilot is a big part of why it's so hard to think about it.
Oh yeah, that is so, so true. And you know, that autopilot speaks a lot about habits, right? In in many ways, it's like your mom was right, stand up straight, you know, to have listened to her. And what I have learned, I remember somebody saying once that our lives are in front of us. And so that positioning just right there, I mean, our eyes are in front of us, our lives are in front of us. There's a tendency to pull us forward, whether you're washing the dishes, brushing your teeth, leaning into a conversation, leaning in to watch your favorite show on television. This is what's pulling you forward. But by having the awareness, once you establish that awareness, that it's just a natural thing, then you can begin to pull yourself back and begin to focus on the alignment like Anne is suggesting that we do. So for me, recognizing our lives are in front of us, just getting that awareness made a huge difference, a huge difference.
And,
And
looking at into, I totally agree, brain health and neuroplasticity, like relearning habits, how valuable it is to learn to brush your teeth with your other hand, or right left side differences, so that imbalance gets rebalanced, so our whole equilibrium of how the muscle system works, but from the motor cortex of what the signals are. So from your nervous system, everything of a balanced side to side, and just playing with it. What is that awareness level is a big one. And so with that, one of the first big signs of an aging slump is loss of balance. Teaching, personal training and group fitness for many, many years. And it's amazing how many times people would come and complain about their balance, or I'm like, hey, how you doing? It's like, oh, my balance is terrible, or my balance stinks. And whether they're feeling wobbly, dizzy, falling over, what it means when your balance stinks, because it can be really scary to lose your balance. And the fear of falling and slipping on ice or getting hurt more is a very scary thing. And I think we all saw that very clearly in Simone Biles' eyes when she was going through midair after her vault in the Olympics this summer, when she had that kind of momentary loss of awareness of where she was in space, called the twisties, and how she's going to land. And, she is outstandingly talented that she was able to land that. But, aerial freestyle skiers, snowboarders, when they're going up and doing all the flips, or divers, springboard divers, it is scary when you lose that sense of balance when you're in midair, but also if you slip on ice or trip or something, and you have that moment of balance for fear of falling. Because if you have an injury, like we said, that pain comes up, it changes your life, and that's a challenging place to go to. So I'd like to do maybe a quick assessment of everyone's balance right here, right now. And it's an interesting thing, balance, what it's affected by, in the vestibular system of our proprioception, the nerves that tell us kind of where we are in space. And they're in our feet, they're in our hands, in our mouth, our eyes, our senses are telling us and giving information to our brain of where we are in space, but also visually through the eyes, through the ear canals. The whole vestibular system tells us a lot about where we are in space and what can affect it on any given day. Your hydration levels, your caffeine intake, sleep that you had, your feelings of nervousness or anxiety, anything can have a big effect on balance. And the important part to remember when talking about your balance or describing your balance and doing assessments like we're going to do coming up is none of the information, like don't quantify any of the information as good or bad or, you know, bad balance. It's just awareness and what we can learn and ways to make it better. So I'm going to invite you to do this, and I want you to do it either in bare feet or in sock feet. So I'm going to invite you, I'm going to do it right here myself. If you have shoes on, take them off, or if you have socks on, maybe take them off. Let's stand up with bare feet on. And obviously, if you have a situation where you can't go bare feet, don't do it. It's okay. You may want to have a chair or a counter nearby in case you fall and or get, you know, wobbly or anything else. So I'm gonna change my chair. Woo! All right. So getting your feet underneath you. It's nice to stand up and kind of stretch out the hips no matter what. And let's start by paying attention to where your body tends to lean naturally and what muscles are used to kind of keep you upright. So look down at your feet, and I want you to line up the outside edge of your pinky toe with the outside edge of your heel. So you're in a parallel track between those outside edges of your feet. For some of you, it might feel like you're pigeon-toed if your feet want to rotate out naturally, but I'm using my hands as an example for my feet because you can't really see them. So the outside edges, and those of us up in northern New England, maybe not so much in Houston, but have an idea of what a parallel cross-country ski track looks like. And you're lining your feet up in that parallel track. And by the way, a little tip, FYI, which was very interesting this year, the Olympic tracks that are groomed out are made for male pelvises, not female pelvises. And so I had a female friend who was cross-country skiing. She came to a stop and she had kind of a narrow, you know, base of support. Her feet were centered and she whoop, fell over. And when she fell over, she landed on her wrist and broke her wrist. So these are little things of balance we need to keep keep in mind. So anyway, just a little aside on that one with parallel ski tracks. Okay, we're going to think about side to side and imagine putting a coin, and it can be a quarter, a dime, nickel, whatever you want, underneath the ball of your big toe, underneath the ball of your little toe, and in the center of your heel. So you're going to have 3 coins that make a triangle underneath each foot. And bring your body weight forward. Your feet stay flat, but bring your body weight forward so you're in the front 2 coins, ball of the big toe, ball of the little toe. And then bring your body weight back so you're kind of on your heels. Then come center with your body, and your body is, like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. So you want to be upright where your weight is perfectly centered on all 6 points, 3 on the right foot, 3 on the left foot. Just take a few deep breaths into that one and feel what that center of balance feels like. We're going to go into a single leg stance. We're trying to stand on 1 foot. And again, if you have a chair nearby and you need a little assistance with this, but I want you to pay attention to what your foot is doing. Like, where is your body trying to keep your balance? Does it want to roll to the inside, roll to the outside? What? So bring your weight onto your left foot, get those 3 points of balance under the left foot, bend the right knee and just bring it up and try to stand on 1 foot and just pay attention. What is going on underneath your foot? Good, bring it down. And let's practice on the right foot. Same thing. Bringing the body weight onto your right foot. lift up the left. Just feel where your foot is going, where your body weight's going. Is it you mostly wanting to go roll to the inside? Are your toes clenching up? That's another good indicator. Also, pay attention to the rest of the body. Are your arms going in a different direction? Are you gritting your teeth, holding your breath? What is your body's mechanism to help keep your balance? All right, bring her down. Stand on 2 feet. Kind of shake out your shoulders, shake out your legs and arms. I call this a dog shake. So you know what a dog shake is. When it gets, dog goes swimming, comes out, stands right next to you and does a dog shake. So get the water off, just do a little dog shake, reset that neurological system. Good, take a few deep breaths. We're gonna do the same thing now with counting. So I wanna see how long that you can stand on 1 foot, and then we're going to do the other foot. And I'm going to count slowly and just, keep in mind what number it is when you need to put the other foot down. Okay, so prompt, bring yourself onto your left foot, right foot up, and go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Good. Put the foot down. If you were there that whole time, everybody looked pretty rock solid on that one. Well done. Were you breathing? Hopefully, yes. All right, let's try it on the right foot. Bring your weight onto your right foot, lift the left, and go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Put the foot down. Awesome. Make right, left kind of thought problems. Like, was it easier on your left foot? Was it easier on your right foot? Where did you want to go? Just like mental notes of what that was. Okay, a little dog shake. We ain't done yet. This is going to get way more fun. So hang tight with me. We are going to do that same exact thing, standing on your left foot only, then standing on your right foot only, counting, but this time eyes are going to be closed. Oh dear Lord, we're taking the eyes out of our balance equation. Okay, I'm going to have you close your eye. You stand on 2 feet. And if this makes you nervous, please have, something around you to catch on to if you need to. Close your eyes. Bring your weight onto your right foot. Get that tripod underneath and go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Woo! Well done. A little bit more wobbly. I could see everybody there. And, this is a tricky one. So well done. Let's try it now on the other foot. Okay. Get yourself set on 2 feet. Close your eyes. Bring your weight onto your right foot tripod and go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Was it more wobbly? Was it less wobbly? So just do your own assessment. Like I said, nothing is good or bad. It's just where you are at today. And I will tell you right here, right now, that everything can be improved, everything can be corrected. And it is a lot to do with the signals from your brain of where you are in space. And if you have had any injury, any scar, any whatever, overworking on a pattern, sometimes those signals, get lost, or there's dams in the system. And, so good news is these things can be worked out, but those are just little aha moments. So, feel free to have a seat again. Look for side to side differences in where your balance is going, because posture and taking care of the feet, taking care of the hands will make a huge difference in how you're carrying yourself and how your body perceives balance and how to correct it. And, looking at what's important on your body, and everybody's a little bit different, but these are just little things that can be improved with a little guidance along the way. Learn anything there, Yvonne?
Yeah, I learned that we have an incredible group of people who are clearly engaged. I saw a lot of people, a lot of you working on that balance, and I'm sure, I hope you gained some insight from that. And this is one of the reasons that I love working with Anne so much. I often refer to how she'll break things down and make it really meaningful. I call it the biomechanical breakdown. And she's just so very masterful at it.
But the big thing I wanted to add, I just forgot, how important our eyes are.
Mhm.
And as we age, and the cataracts and the glaucoma, and looking at computers and the blue light and blah blah blah, all this stuff, how the muscles of the eyes work and control a lot of those signals. And when there's a breakdown in that process, that's where maybe you can improve in certain areas. And how important, like the muscles of the eyes sending the signals back to the vestibular system of where we are. And when those, the eyes can get worn out too. And an example for me as a competitive swimmer most of my life, and you might have seen the swimmers in the Olympics and, shoving the goggles into their eyeball sockets. It puts amazing pressure on the muscles of your eyes. And as a swimmer swimming the crawl stroke, I turn my head to the left naturally. That's like my natural way to breathe. So if I'm always turning one way and the neck muscles are going one way, when I had my eyes tested with neurokinetic therapy, which is a modality that I find amazing in practice myself, I found that my eyes were not tracking in a diagonal way. And so just by releasing and activating certain sequences of eye muscles, not only did headaches go away and my vision actually improved, but my balance and sense of space was improved. So it's just, little things like that. And what I noticed with eye motion, and what I want you guys to be thinking about potentially of where your limitations might be and ways to correct it that are not surgical and that it can be improved.
Yeah, there's just so much that you can do when you tap in. We in NIA, we focus a lot on head and eye movement. We don't just think about, are you building muscles? Are you conditioning your body? It's about everything, head and eye movement. Another thing it's the strangest thing that I also credit with starting to heal the pain that I had in my right hip, which I thought was arthritis. I was on the aging slump train, and I was assuming that, oh, okay, I guess I'm going to be dealing with arthritis. My grandfather had arthritis. This is my time. But when I started to pay attention to my alignment, then that made all it slowly over time improved. And so now I can take stairs without that that awful pain in my hip. But what I was going to tell you is we have a move in Nia. Nia is made up of 52 different moves that weave together into just a beautiful fluid moving form. And we have a move called spear fingers, which can be done in a couple of ways, but my favorite way is like the Scout's Promise way. And what I started doing was whenever I needed to bend down, and I still do it. I get my spear fingers. I only do it on my right side because that's where I had the problem. And I use that as an alignment, like a laser, like what do you call them? Light sword, light laser, and I shoot it back. Okay, now I'm going to switch to a different analogy of Spider-Man. So I shoot it back like I'm shooting back a web that is in direct alignment to where I want my hip to go, so that I'm not overloading one side over the other, that everything is even. And I do it still today. When I'm reaching down to the bottom dresser drawer, my hand shoots out, one foot goes behind the other so that everything stays aligned. And that goes for my eyes as well. We say that eyes in Nia are how you direct your energy. You direct your energy through your eyes. And so we want to have the full range of motion by making sure that we use the head and the neck and the eyes. So all of these things work together. And
One of the things, just again with brain health, my husband studies concussions, and especially in football players. And my father has been in a car accident where he had hit his head pretty well. And so looking at where the eyes are going and if they're converging, and that's one of the treatment modalities for overcoming concussion symptoms is eye exercises.
Yeah.
We do
Okay.
neurokinetic.
We're gonna move on. We were going to do a Nia experience. I have a really fun little piece for you, but we're nearing the end, and we want to be able to give you your homework assignment. So we're gonna move that to day 4. So yet another reason for you to come every day so that you can experience this beautiful movement form that can bring so much conditioning. And let's just go ahead and talk you through what we'd like you to do before we meet again on tomorrow. And
Okay, so
up to you.
absolutely. The first one was homework is taking a photo of your favorite or most commonly worn shoes. So I have my sneakers here, and you look at the bottom and you can see the wear pattern. You can see what I'm doing off the back edge and front edge. So maybe this way is a little bit better way to look at it. So am I like kind of stepping out on my pinky toe? This is not so good. It's not a very even wear pattern. And what's it telling me about my legs? And I guess I could go, this is my right foot, and is my left foot the same? So look at your shoes, take a picture of the bottom of them, and even of let me see if I can do this, the back of them. So we can see, and you can see very clearly, what are your kind of common wear patterns. So take the picture of the top, the bottom, all that good stuff, and then post it either onto that, Leap into Vitality 2021 Facebook page, or email to either me or Yvonne. And our emails, like we said at the beginning, you should have, but we can put them into the, thank you, Yvonne, for putting that into the chat.
You're
so
welcome.
our emails are on the chat. Take a picture, with the camera or with your phone, and just send it right to us on email, because it would be super fun to see them. But more importantly, it's fun to see them on the Facebook page, so you can see other people's, and we'll look at those and evaluate some of those tomorrow.
Yeah, and I have to put a plug in for Anne and her brilliance and her biomechanical breakdown by doing that photo and getting it posted or sent to, I'm going to suggest you send it to both of us. Specifically though, send it to Anne. You're going to get some free advice on what you can do to change your movement pattern to prevent that wear and tear. I just want to say very quickly to those of you who may be joining us now on Facebook or seeing the replay of this or watching it later, huge apologies for the technical difficulties that we had. The live feed is out there now. And so to catch up with the rest of it, we're going to be sending a recording of what we have on Zoom out to everybody who has registered. And so make sure that we have your email addresses, or excuse me, that you, make sure we have your email addresses. If you happen to join us just through Facebook, we've got our email addresses out there as a Facebook post. And if you're not sure if we've got yours, then send us a note so we can get you on that. And then I'll say, because you missed it at the beginning, that we're giving a special event only gift that you'll receive in your inbox. So yet another reason to make sure that we have your email address. Okay, I believe we have come to the end for everything today. And everybody, I just think you should give yourself a big pat on the back for sticking through this and going through that posture assessment.